Hey everybody, good afternoon. This is Trisha with Happy Home Designs. Welcome to this Friday afternoon live event. Um, I'm sorry if I look a little rough today. I've been under the weather and just trying to force myself to feel better enough to get on and create a project. So I hope you guys can join me, or I hope you, as you join me, that you'll type in your name and let me know that you're here. I would appreciate that. Um, that way I know who all's watching. Let me get my camera set up here. Hold on, let me turn my volume down. Okay, got it fixed. Anyway, as you join, as you hop on, if you will send me a message and let me know that you're here, let me know who's watching. I would appreciate that. So today, I already had a large piece of wood. These were intended, I was actually making trays, with the big bulky handles that were going to be on the side, and that was what I had these for. But I decided that today I wanted to use one of these boards to make a door hanger for the front door. So that's what I'm going to be doing. This one is pretty large. I've got a measurement here. It is 16 by, I didn't think it was a square. I thought it was a rectangle, but it is 16 by 18. So that's the size wood that I'm going to be working with. What I'm going to do is I'm going to actually paint this. I'm not going to leave it solid. I want this to look like a present when we're finished, and it'll be like a package hanging on the front door. Hey, Barbara. So that's what I'm going to be doing. I'm going to stripe it. I've got painter's tape. I've got my bowl of paint and a paintbrush. Once I stripe it, I've got all kinds of ribbons to make a really pretty bow. I've got burlap. I've got a new buffalo check, red and white buffalo check burlap. It's not really burlap, but it's a burlap type. Let's see what else I've got. My candy stripe or candy cane stripe ribbon. I have my burlap color ribbon with the red polka dots that I've been using forever. I've got my regular burlap, which is my favorite, in two different sizes. And then, of course, I've also got some florals to add to it. And then I will also be adding these words, just the Merry Christmas portion of this transfer. Hey, Anna. Hey, Mom. Thank you guys for joining. So I'm going to go ahead and get started. And hopefully this will not be a long process today. Let me move my paint out of the way. Like I said, I'm just going to apologize for looking rough. Sometimes we just are not our best, and today is one of those days for me. I'm not measuring anything, you guys. I usually eyeball to see if something is straight or not. I don't usually do any measurements, and that's what I'm going to do today. I'm just going to be myself. So I'm just putting some painter's tape on in varying stripe widths, and the reason I say they're going to be varying is because I'm not doing any measurements. But I'm going to make my board, like I said, it's going to be a Christmas package, but it's going to be like a natural wood and white striped Christmas package. It does help if I have it up in front of me to see if it looks like it's crooked or not. With that. And the paint that I'm going to be using, I use it quite often. I've probably told you guys about it before. I'm actually using outdoor paint. It is a barn and fence paint, and I got it at Lowe's. The reason I like to use it is, first of all, it's good for outdoors, which this is going to be an outdoor door hanger. Of course, it could be used inside too. But it's good for outdoors, but I love the finish. It actually dries with a very chalky finish, which is a look that I really like. And it's easy to work with. Okay, and as you can see, I'm just lining out my painter's tape everywhere I think I need a stripe. Hopefully they're going to be pretty straight. I usually am okay at eyeballing things, but I'm also going to not be having it up in front of me today. You know, sometimes you just don't feel great, but you know you'll feel better if you'll just join normal life. That's what I'm doing today. I'm willing myself to feel better today. And this last little stripe, If I didn't put another piece of tape, it would be kind of wide, too wide at the bottom. So I'm going to add another piece. Try to get it straight. Okay. So what I have is my board all taped off. So my stripes look fairly even. I'm going to hold it up and look at it myself. I think they look pretty good. Remember, it's a craft. It's a project that I'm making at home. So it doesn't have to be perfect. If we wanted everything perfect, we would just let machines roll products off and everybody would buy them in bulk, which is what we do with a lot of our decor. But this one, I want it to be unique and where not everybody has one. Okay, so I've got my stripes all lined out. I've got my outdoor paint. And like I said, it's white barn and fence paint. Now, when I do these stripes, I am not going to, you see the edge of my package, I'm not going to paint over the edges. So hopefully not taping that off won't be a problem. But I'm going to start on this end and then flip it around. So I'm just loading up my brush. This is my artist brush from Walmart that I have found that I absolutely love. It doesn't matter if some parts of the stripes are faint. Remember, this is it's actually going to be a farm style design package for the front door. So it doesn't matter if everything is not exactly perfect. And I really don't want the paint to be heavy because I am going to be putting a chalk couture stencil on top of it where it says Merry Christmas on the package, and I don't want that to bleed. So it's better if I have lighter paint, and also it dries a lot faster. But if you can see through to the wood, that's okay. I've actually got a sanding block, and I'm going to sand over a little bit of it. So I'm going to try to make those edges good and smooth and kind of rough up the outer edges. Okay, so that's the first stripe. The only reason I'm being careful at all is just because I don't want it to drip over the edge. So I know you guys, I've been working on Christmas projects for what now, 4 months or 4 weeks or so. But I am starting to see more and more people that are already doing Christmas shopping. I saw earlier where a friend is already wrapping Christmas presents. And I really think that this whole year, we're kind of over all the mess. We're over the election. We're over COVID. We're over all of that. And we're ready for some happiness. And so I think more people are jumping on to bigger and better things and trying to bring happiness into their lives. So we're inviting Christmas in a little bit early. I didn't think this would take too long. Hopefully it won't. Don't forget as you watch to sprinkle the video along. I've already had some people sprinkling ahead of time, and I greatly appreciate that. If you watch the replay later, if you're watching the replay, then let me know that you're here for that as well. I do go back and try to read the comments, especially comments from the replay, because I can't talk to you in person when you're watching the replay. Okay, just trying to do it kind of light. I'll show you what I've got so far when I finish up this third stripe. So I've got my first three stripes done. Move on to number 4. So tomorrow's Halloween. So who is dressing up? What adults are actually dressing up this year? Who's taking their kids trick-or-treating? Who's just doing a trunk or treat? Tell me what you guys are up to tomorrow. I think the kids here, my grandkids, are doing trunk or treats during the day and maybe a house or two in the evening just around here. We'll see. Of course, grandkids that aren't living in the house with me right now, or that I'm not living in their house, they need to come and see their nanny so nanny can give them treats. It felt weird this morning. I logged onto Facebook, fairly early, and you know how you have your memories pop up, and my memory was me and Jackson, which is the oldest grandson, last year. So it was a 1 year ago memory, and it was where I went to his Halloween party with him last year. And it feels so weird to know that this year I couldn't go thanks to COVID. Corey is dressing up. Yeah, Corey told me what he was going to be. Oh, now I can't remember. It's a character off of a TV show. Tell me what he's going to be, Anna. Just totally left my brain. And I've got parts of your two baby boys' costumes here. I need to get to you tonight, today sometime. Okay, you guys, this might be taking a little bit longer than I thought, but it's not too bad all in all. But this is going to dry super fast. Most of this, actually, that first drop is actually pretty dry right now already. Okay, I'm going to flip it around where I can get to the other end. I've only got four more to go, and I've done four. So I've done two, three. I've actually done five, so I'm more than halfway there. Flip my board around. An Instagram guy. I knew it was somebody that he watched videos of or something. He's going to be an influencer. Just so tickled that he's got the day off and he can be with kids on Halloween. So I'm willing my headache to go away. Sinuses, this weather and sinuses just don't go well together at all. It's funny, you can tell as I continue painting that I tend to get a little bit sloppier as I go because I'm trying to be a little bit faster when I think it's taking too long. Plus, I'm trying to make sure that I get it all done before any children wake up from naps. There we go. Rut Daniels. He makes funny videos acting like he's hunting fishing redneck. Yes, I remember now. And Corey was talking to me, and I was piddling or doing something when he was explaining to me who he was going to be. And I did remember that it was an Instagram influencer. It's good to stay young at heart. So if you're dressing up for Halloween, I hope you enjoy it. I don't think I've ever dressed up for Halloween as an adult, ever. So it's just a little out of character for me. I've always been one that didn't want to draw any attention to themselves. So that's probably why. Okay, this one I'm going to do the stripe the sideways because I don't want it to go over that edge. And then I'll start peeling the tape off and we'll move on to the next process. I think this will be super cute. You know, a few years ago, people would, and I guess still now, haven't really paid attention, but you know, they take wrapping paper and you cover your entire front door and then you put the ribbon across and make it look like the entire door is a package. This is the same concept, much smaller level and probably a lot cuter. I'm not just saying that because I'm making it. Well, maybe I am. Okay, about got it. All right, so I think I am finished with my white paint. Try not to lean up and get it on my shirt. And I'm going to peel the tape off starting at that back end because I know it's dry. And then we'll see my stripes. So this is as if we use striped wrapping paper. I did pretty good. I only see one spot where it bled a little bit. All that up. Put it on my paper towel. Put it on my paper towel and get it out of the way. Use a wipe. Okay, so we have our stripes done. So that's the first layer. I've got one little smudge right there. I really should not even worry about it, but I did. Okay, so here is our striped package. Cute, kind of plain, but it's cute. So I'm going to set this aside for right now because I want it to be good and dry, and then I'm going to go back with my sanding block and just make sure that it's good and smooth so when I put my stencil down in a few minutes, it won't bleed at all. So what I'm going to do is actually go ahead and move on and work on my bow. I know I'm kind of doing it out of order, but I just need that paint to dry. So I picked up this really cute ribbon. This is from Walmart. You guys, the Walmart ribbon selection in the Christmas department is outstanding. But I saw this, the buffalo check, and it's kind of got a burlap feel. I guess it is burlap. But it's red and white, and it is so cute. I think it's a 2.5 inch. Oh, 3.5 inch. I'm not good with my inches, evidently. So I'm going to use some of this. I'm going to try to make a big fluffy bow in the corner of my package. This is really, really wide for me. I don't normally use ribbon this wide, but I thought it was so pretty that I wanted to give it a try. So I think I'm going to make an actual bow. I'm not going to make a messy bow this time, which is what I normally do because it's so easy. It's much easier for me. But anyway, this ribbon is 30 feet long. 30 feet long, 3.5 inches wide, and I think it was $7.98. I think that's what it was. And this is going to be a layered bow. So here's my first layer. I actually just take it and round it out. So literally it's a circle, and then I pinch it in the middle like that. I'm thinking I might do, I'm not going to do 2 layers. I'm just going to do one. For one, I don't want to waste any of this ribbon because it's really pretty and I want to use it on as many projects as I can. And I also need some of that for my package here in a minute. So I've got my first layer. You see when I pinch it together, it looks like a bow already. That's going to be the top layer. The next, I'm trying to decide how many layers I want. I'm also going to use the burlap. It's not really burlap, it's burlap color with the red polka dots. They're kind of shimmery. I really like that. That's going to be my next layer. And I'm going to do the exact same thing. I'm going to do it right here on top of this ribbon. Start in the same direction. So I'm just laying it down. I'm rolling it around. I'm just going to do one time on this as well. Go ahead and cut it. And then so I've got 2 layers, one on top of the other. Don't worry, I know the polka dots are covering up some of that check right now, but you're going to see the check in a minute because when I get it all together, I'm going to separate these 2 a little bit. So I'm going to leave those like that. I'm just going to take some wire pliers and lay it on top. And then I'm going to go to the next layer. I'm going to use my fancy burlap that I love with the frayed edges. And this one is going to be another layer of bow on top. Get this back here. On top of this one, on top of the bottom, but it's going to be a different size. I want it to be a little bit smaller. You guys, there's no right or wrong way to make a bow. There may be an easy way and a hard way, and I may be doing it the hard way. I don't know. I'm not a great bow maker, but I love pretty bows. So I just try to do the best I can to make it the way I think it's going to turn out cute. And you know what? Sometimes it's a mess and I have to go back and redo it. That's not a big deal. Okay, so again, it's just folded once and there's a little bow. It's going to go on top of this one, but I'm also going to use my candy stripe red on top. So I'm going to do the exact same thing with this. Wrap it around. It's going to be the exact same size as this bow. I'll separate it out at the end. Okay, so I've got 4 different ribbons, 4 different loops. Except I need to fix this one. I've got it upside down. Got it upside down. My brain's not working right now. I don't guess it really matters which direction I'm doing it, but yes, it does. I don't know why I can't get it the right direction. It may be cold medicine. That's my excuse. Cold medicine is affecting my brain. Anyway, I want my seams to both be on the same side, and now I've got them that way. And then it's going to go right in the middle of this. So now I have 4 layers of bow, 2 skinnier ones and 2 thicker ones, but they're all 3 different layers. Don't forget, I see there's eyeballs hopping on later. If you can, send me a message and let me know that you're here. Let me know what you guys are up to today. Okay, I'm going to use some jute. I'm actually going to tie these 2 separate things, tie them as if they're 2 separate bows. So I'm going to take the big one and I'm going to go ahead and scrunch it just a little bit in the middle, kind of pinch it up together like that. Now it kind of looks more like a bow, right? Actually, it looks like a bow tie. And then I'll take my jute, wrap it around really tight, flip it upside down, and then I'm just going to tie it as tight as I possibly can. The only reason I scrunched it was to go ahead and let the fabric know I want it to bunch up there, kind of get wrinkles in it. Just it makes it a little bit easier. But the tighter you can get the jute, the better it turns out. So that's my first layer. I'll cut off my extra pieces. So this is what I have. So it looks like a bow tie. I may not have it even. I may have to pull it some. And then I'm going to do the exact same thing with this one. I have bought a bow maker before, not the Bow Dabber, but a different one. A little wooden one. I can't remember what it was called. But I broke it. And I just haven't replaced it yet. And I've been doing messy bows and coming up with my own version of bows that works. So we're just going to, you know what? I'm thinking I've got this too long. I actually do have this one a little bit too long. Hold on just 1 minute. Let me go back, make it a little bit shorter because I don't want it as big as that bottom section. There we go. It just gives me a little bit of waste, but that's okay. Scrunch it in the middle, tie it. Hey, Deborah. Thank you for joining us. Hey, Jessica. Thank you for sprinkling. Okay, so tie it as tight as I possibly can. I'm going to try to get this a little bit closer so you guys can see. Tell me if I've started to use a computer instead of videoing on the phone. So tell me if you guys are having trouble seeing projects. Somebody has mentioned that the screens are small. I gave an answer for that. So I've got 2 different layers, but I don't know if my answer was actually correct or not. So tell me if you guys are having a hard time seeing together. Thank you, Brenda, for sprinkling. Brenda, did you hear me talking about somebody already wrapping Christmas gifts already? Did you hear me mention that earlier? I don't know if you were here at that time or not. But somebody I know has already started wrapping Christmas presents. So that's got me even more in the holiday mood. Okay, I think for the top, I'm going to make a little knot, and I think I'm going to go back to my candy stripe ribbon, cut me a piece off, and that way I can just join these two together and cover up that jute in the middle. Why is that little boy awake already? So I put my grandson down for a nap. He did not take a morning nap at all because we were out and about this morning. Put him down for a nap, and he's in bed for an hour, and he is already up. Okay, so I'm just going to tie that in a super tight knot. I'm not going to, the first beginning part of a knot, and hook these two together. Yeah, Brenda, I was talking about, thank you for sprinkling, by the way, but I was talking about somebody that I know that's already started wrapping Christmas presents. And that has really got me in the mood, as if I wasn't in the mood already, huh? Okay, so this is what I've got, and I'm just going to go through and I'm going to separate out my layers of the bow. And you guys, if it doesn't look right, I'm going to take it apart and redo it. And I'm thinking it may not look right. He's fussing. Maybe he'll go back to sleep. Mark had to get the baby out of the bed. All right, I don't know. Don't know if I like it or not. I put my back two layers back together because I didn't like them pull apart. Brenda, I like Christmas and the wrapping, and I want it all done early, but I absolutely hate the actual wrapping part. I dread it. I put it off. But yeah, I don't want to pay somebody else to do the wrapping either. It's crazy. Okay, so here's what I've got so far. I may mess with this a little bit more. I'm not really happy with that. Okay, so Deborah, you're saying everything looks okay on the computer for you, or the on your screen now for you? I appreciate feedback. All right, I'm gonna lay this aside. I may or may not use this. I may make another one. Okay, so let me go back to my board. All of my stripes should be ready. Everything feels dry. This is the end I did last. I'm just going to take my sandpaper and rough it up just a smidge. I'm not trying to create dust in the house. I just want to make sure that when I put down my Merry Christmas image with my stencil in a little while, that it's not going to bleed through. So I'm just going to go back over it just lightly. Just have to bear with me on the sand. And I'm going to take it off the edges a little bit. I just want a good smooth surface to put down my stencil. Is he going to be okay? Okay, I've got a grandson who thinks that Nani is supposed to hold him when he's awake. Okay, and then I'm just going to take a wipey and wipe off some of that dust. Okay. It also wipes off a little bit of the stain. Okay, so here's what we have. It's all pretty smooth. If I look away, I can't feel if I'm touching a stripe or not, which that's what I want. Okay, before I start gluing anything onto the front, I have found that it's easier if I put my hanger on the back. So I'm going to flip it upside down. For my hanger, I actually use a piece of 5-inch jute, or not 5-inch jute, but burlap. And just cut me a strip off. This is the same jute or same burlap that I use for all of my door hangers. It's really, really wide, but I roll it into thirds. So I roll half or a third over and then another third to kind of make it like a little loop. If you guys can see that or not, I turn it upside down. And then I'm going to staple it on the back. So I go ahead and get this done because once I add a big bow on the front and once I add my flowers or any other decoration, then I don't want to have to mash them to go back and add this. Make sure I got my length right. So hold on just 1 second. I'm going to put a couple of staples. Roll it up again. Flip it over here. Remember, I don't measure. I just try to, and I'll get this out of your way so you can see in just a second. Staples. Okay. Pull that off. So it comes unrolled, but that's okay. So when you pick it up, you've got this big, thick piece of burlap to hang it. So that's what will go on your door or a nail if you want to use this inside. I plan on this being a door hanger for the front door. But now you can kind of see that there at the front of the screen. That's okay. All right, so I've got my hanger on. Now I am going to actually, you know how you take your ribbon and you wrap them around your package before you put your bow on? I'm going to do that. I'm not going to use this. I don't want that to be my primary focus, but I am going to use this. Can you guys see? I'm just going to cut a strip wide enough to wrap around the back. And then I need a strip that goes this way, wide enough to wrap around the back. And then on top of that, I'm doing some layering. So basically, I'm going to, let me see if I can show you what this is going to look like. So, you know, when you wrap a pet present and then you put your bow up here in the corner and it looks like that. That's what I'm trying to do, you guys. But I'm actually going to layer it. I'll move it down a little bit, just try to get it to where I think that my words need to be. It sits in the refrigerator. Okay, and for this, I'm just going to hot glue it down. A little at a time. Doesn't take very much hot glue at all. Once I get it wrapped around the back, then I'll staple it so I know that it's good and permanent. Little strip there. Little strip there. Stretch it and lay it down, rub it down. So I'll be using the stapler again here in just a minute. I don't want so much glue that it actually bleeds through my ribbon and comes to the front. Okay, so I'm going to have the cross piece like this. Let me get that out of the way. But I'm also going to layer this, and I think I'm going to put, if I have enough, of this burlap, and then the candy cane on top. And I do have enough. You guys, this ribbon, when I get it from Hobby Lobby and it's the 30 feet, it seems like I can use it forever before it starts to run out. So I'm going to put another layer right in the middle. And this one, it's burlap, it's liable to show through, so I'm just going to do lightly. I just want to hold it in place good enough for me to get it flipped over and stapled down. I know, Deborah. Too bad the craft show got canceled. Talking about bell buckle, I'm sure. Actually, let's see, we did a craft show together at a church last year, right? And I hadn't heard anything about that one, but we had already decided that we have way too much going on to do any shows anyway. So we weren't necessarily going to be doing them. Okay, so I need to get my last little strip of ribbon on this. That may be too much. It kind of covers up my burlap look. I think I'm not going to use this on top. It's going to be just fine without it. A couple of strips of glue down here for this part. Oh, yeah, the Methodist Church. Yeah, and I know all of us, I think, were so discouraged and disappointed about everything being canceled this year because of the COVID. And I hate it, but we'll just have to look forward to next year, think positive, look forward to next year, and hopefully things won't be as crazy next year. Okay, I'm going to add this strip. I'm just going to go ahead and put it all the way down the middle. I just want it just good enough for it to stick down so I can flip it over and put my staples in. Let it dry for a second. So like Anna said, craft fairs and stuff like that, especially in fall time, is kind of what we always look forward to kick off the whole holiday season, you know, all the way down to Halloween and then Thanksgiving and Christmas and New Year's. So what else do you guys do? What's a tradition that you normally do that actually starts the year off by saying, hey, it's holiday time for us? What is a tradition that your family does? I'm going to turn my stapler back on. I'm going to staple down. I know you're having a hard time seeing because of that ribbon, but I pulled my ribbons around to the back and I'm going to staple them down. And this way they're all tucked away nice and secure. The hot glue probably would have held them anyway, but I want to make sure that they're not going anywhere, especially if this is going to be out in the weather. And you know how the winds can be. Let me pull this piece through under my other ribbon there. I almost got it in the way. Let me tuck this so you guys can see. Kind of see. Okay. Back off. All right, so here's what we have. So starting to look like a package. Is that cute? Okay, so what I'm going to do, let me tuck this under, is I'm actually going to put Merry Christmas down here because you know, if it's a door greeter sign, then it needs to welcome people. And so this is going to welcome your guests by saying Merry Christmas. You visit the pumpkin patch, and that kind of kicks everything off. I haven't actually done a pumpkin patch this year, and that's terrible because I normally do. Mark and I normally take, well, last year it was Jackson and Macy, but Jackson before, because the other babies are still pretty small. But we actually didn't even do a pumpkin patch this year. We've been too busy for one thing. Okay, let me back up. This, you guys, this is a Chalk Couture stencil. It says Merry Christmas to all and to all a good night. I am only using the Merry Christmas portion. They are reusable stencils, and this I used last year several times. And they're self-sticking. The stickiness or the tackiness usually stays on pretty good for a long time. And then you just wash them, let them dry, and reuse them. Okay, and I'm using Chalk Couture ink in Candy Apple Red. So that's what I'm going to put my Merry Christmas on. So this is what I was talking about. I did not want my my white stripes to actually let this bleed through, and I don't think they will. Okay, and there are some dots and some stars. I'm going to skip them. I just want just the words. So I just load up my squeegee with my ink and then rub it right over the stencil. If you guys have never used a mesh or a silk screen stencil, you don't know what you're missing. If you like to craft, it makes things so much easier. I can use a regular stencil too, but you kind of have to dab and you have to be a lot more careful when you're putting your paint down or your paste or whatever it is you're using. And this just seems to go on so easy. I prefer the ink over regular chalk because it's more permanent and I feel like it glides on a little smoother. Now, there are some downfalls to using ink versus chalk. Ink takes much longer to dry, so I will have to set this outside in the sun. There is a little bit of sun right now. Set it outside in the daylight anyway to let it dry some. But I mean, if it's not sunny, it's not a problem. It's still going to dry. It'll just take longer. Okay. And then I just wipe off all the extra, take it with me, scrape it back in my jar because I can use that. Move this over here to my paper towel. And then I'm going to pull my stencil up. Oh, so cute. That out of the way. All right, let me show you what I have. So now it says Merry Christmas. Now, is it looking more and more like a present? I think it probably is. Okay, now I am still not sure about my bow. I'm not loving it. I don't hate it. I think I'm going to go with it. I think I'm going to use it. It's not my favorite, but I am going to decorate it up a little bit. So that's what I have. I don't know, you guys. I don't know. I'm going to try it. I think I'm going to go with it. I do have some fabrics and pieces of the bow that are a little bit long. I'm going to trim them off some just to get them out of the way. I saw a piece of the burlap I could trim off to make it less bulky. And I also have to add some tails because you know when you tie a bow, you've got tails that come down. So I do need some of this for the tail of my bow. I don't want it to be super long. I'm guesstimating how long I want it to be. It's not going to be very long at all. And I'm going to fold that. What I just did, you guys, I'm going to dovetail it. I just folded it in half. Once it's in half, I fold it in half again and put both of my wired edges to the outside. And then you literally just cut up at an angle towards the wired edges to make a dovetail. So each end looks like that. So I need that piece, my polka dots. These all need to be about the same length. Piece of polka dot. That's probably all. Probably just these two big pieces is all I'm going to use. Same thing. Fold it in half. Fold it in half again. And then I'm going to make that cut right out to the outer edges of where the, except I didn't do it right, to where the wire meets. Do it one more time. Okay, so now it's dovetailed on both ends. You see that? Thank you, Jessica. I'm glad you think it looks cute. I'm kind of questioning myself. Okay, so same thing. I've got both of these. They're both dovetailed. I put the burlap looking, the polka dots on top, and I'm just going to pinch it up in the middle really tight. And these are going to be my tails that hang down from my bow like this. I know you can't hardly see that, but I'm going to grab a piece of the jute, tie this one off. We are almost finished. Here, a baby in there that still needs his nanny. And I'm actually going to glue this piece down first, and then I'll glue my bow on top, and then I'm going to go back and add a couple of florals, and we will be done. You guys don't forget to be sprinkling the video. I appreciate that. So here's my tails are going to be down behind my bow, and I want them to angle down just a little bit. I'm going to go ahead and let me move this out of the way. So they're going to go right here. I'm going to hold it up for all to see. I'm being very liberal with my hot glue. I'm going to bend them, put them right smack in the middle. I didn't want them to be so long that they actually covered up my words, and they're not. I don't know why he's not sleeping. What are you looking for? Right here in this chair. Poppy's on baby duty. Okay, that's pretty good, but just to make sure that it's good and secure, I am going to take the staple gun one more time, or a couple more times actually. I'm going to go in underneath this one and make sure, hold on, that that one's staying down permanently and that it's at the angle that I want it to be at. You can't see it because it's underneath that top bow, top layer. So here's what we have. That's just my tails. Get it turned around here. So these are just my tails to my bow, and then my bow will actually go on top. Let me get this done. That's a good Poppy that takes over and does baby duty whenever Nani is busy. Okay, again, with this portion of the bow, I'm being super liberal with that glue. And then I glue it right down on top. You have to hold it for a minute. You guys, I use high temperature glue. So it does get super, super hot. But I'm also using Gorilla glue sticks, high temperature, and they seem to work so much better than even the small glue. I mean, these are the big, ginormous sizes. They're not the little bitty skinny ones. But it's just a better quality glue for me. I know that when I get something stuck down, usually you're not going to pop it back off. Sometimes with hot glue, you can go back later and pop it off. 3 gifts in different sizes. Yes, you're right, Dee. That would be a good look too. Cute. Okay, but I'm also, just to make sure, again, this is going to be outside in the elements and all of that, I'm going to take my stapler and I'm going to run it up in the middle of my big loops and staple it down again. I just feel safer that way. Bear with me. I turned it off. So one on each side, up inside the biggest loop. And that way I know it's staying. It's not going anywhere. Okay, here's what we have. So cute. It says Merry Christmas. I'm almost finished, but you guys know me. Bows are my thing, and greenery is my thing. I've already got a couple of things kind of chopped off. I'm actually just going to glue on some pieces and just have them sticking out of the middle of my bow in different places. This one was already cut. Sticking it right up underneath there. I just think everything's better with a little bit of greenery and a big bow. You guys, I only have one granddaughter and 4 grandsons, and I don't know what I would do if my granddaughter didn't like bows in her hair and cutesy clothes. Thank you, Anna. Okay, I'm going to pull off a leaf. just a green leaf. Get loaded up with glue. Find a place to stick it. Like that. I will pick it up and show you in just a minute. I have got a pine cone with a green leaf already, and I think I'm going to stick it out the top. I'm going to trim it down just a little bit. So this is just a different take on a door hanger. And usually once this high temp glue touches, especially burlap, it grabs a hold of it and it does not usually move. Nothing. Gotta have a little more Christmassy sprig. This, I guess it's pine needles. I'll pull it off. When I buy a pick like this, a floral pick, I usually just pull it all apart and use it in different pieces. I don't usually like to use all of it in one big chunk. It's usually too thick for me to use. Plus, it makes your florals go a whole lot farther if you can take them apart and use them in pieces, because that one pick you can use 2 or 3 different times on 2 or 3 different projects. Okay, and I think I'm going to put a poinsettia or 2, and then we will call it good. These actually just cut. Just going to clip a couple off. His milk. Okay, I've got a couple of poinsettias. We'll add them. And this will be it. One there. One maybe at the top. Okay, I think we are good. All right, here's our finished product. Except I've got hot glue strung out everywhere. There you go. We now have a Christmas door hanger. So this can go on the front door. It can go hanging on your wall above your fireplace or next to your TV or wherever you want to put it. But I think it's going to be super cute on a front door. So I hope you guys enjoyed the video. Please don't forget to sprinkle. It's not too late. Well, Deborah, you're probably right. It's probably going on the new front door. We'll see. We'll see. I've got so many different things I want to hang up. But anyway, I hope you enjoyed the video. Hope you liked today's project. Be sure to sprinkle. Be sure to make sure that you're in the drawing for the giveaway that will happen in a week or so. And I appreciate everybody sticking it out with me and enjoying another Friday afternoon craft. I hope you guys have a wonderful weekend. Thank you. Bye.